What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the specs of the Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini to the Samsung Galaxy S3, the original that is. Now the S4 Mini just announced today morning, and once again it's not just a smaller version of the S4 with the same specs. The specs have been cut down, as well as the price is going to be lower as well. However, with the recent release of the Samsung Galaxy S4, the price of the Samsung Galaxy S3 has come down significantly, and it is still a great device and it's got some great specs. So a question that a lot of people have been asking me is, if you're going for a new device and you are on a bit of a budget, is it worth going for the S3 original or the S4 Mini, which is a new device, but in terms of spec, what's the differences? So do hit that thumbs up button and let's find out. So let's start off with size. The S4 Mini, as the name suggests, is a smaller device. It's 12mm smaller in terms of height, roughly about over 9mm smaller in width than the S3, but it's just very slightly thicker, 0.3mm thicker, so nothing there really much, but it is more of a compact device, no doubt. In terms of weight, the S3 is 133 grams, whereas the S4 Mini is 107 grams, so again quite lighter in terms of weight as well. Now in terms of screen size, the S3 is a 4.8 inch screen, whereas the S4 Mini is a 4.3 inch screen. So you've got a little bit of a larger screen, a half an inch larger screen on the S3. So the S4 is going to be a bit more compact. It is going to fit within your hand a little bit better, and it's going to be a bit more comfortable for one-handed use. However, it is only just about 0.5 of an inch smaller in terms of the screen size than the S3. Now in terms of resolution, the S4 Mini does not have a 720p display. It's a 960 by 540 display. I was hoping for a 720p display myself, but the S3 does have a 720p display, 1280 by 720. Now in terms of pixels per inch, the S3 comes to 306 ppi pixel density, whereas the S4 Mini comes to 256 ppi pixel density, so slightly lower than the S3 in terms of pixel density as well as the resolution. So 720p videos are going to look that little bit better on the S3 because of the higher PPI as well as the resolution, pixel for pixel resolution. Now in terms of build and design, both of these have the polycarbonate plastic casing, as do other Samsung devices, and the S4 Mini is currently going to be available in the white frost and the black mist versions. The S3 right now you can get in lots of different versions. The sort of flagship common versions are the pebble blue and the marble white, but there's lots of different versions available in terms of colors. Now inside the phones, now let's look at the processor. So the S4 Mini has the dual-core 1.7 GHz processor. The S3 has the quad-core 1.4 GHz Cortex-A9 processor. Now that's the international version. I believe the US version has the dual-core 1.5 GHz version. So roughly, similar in terms of the performance, I would believe. In terms of internal memory, the S3, you've got the 16, 32, and 64 GB variants. The S4 Mini initially it's just going to have the 8 GB version and possibly a 16 GB version later on. So that's quite low in terms of the internal storage. Now the S3 available storage on the S3, you've got about 11 GB after the OS and TouchWiz, Samsung's TouchWiz, etc. But on the S4 Mini, you're going to have 5 GB of available storage on the 8 GB version. So that's pretty low. So you're going to get roughly about double on the S3 original in terms of your apps, etc. Now both of these do have an expandable memory card slot, so you can expand the memory up to 64 GB micro SD card that you can have in there. It's going to be really useful for your media, so for your pictures and your videos, etc., and you can transfer those onto there. Now in terms of RAM, the S3 had the 1 GB RAM version, and I believe that was a 3G version. That's the one I've got anyway. And then you've got the 2 GB 4G LTE version as well. The S4 Mini is also going to have lots of different versions. The first is going to be the 1.5 GB RAM version, and that's going to be 3G. The 2 GB version is going to be the 4G LTE version, and there's also one option of a 3G dual SIM version as well, which is pretty interesting. Now in terms of cameras, both of these have similar cameras. Both have rear facing 8 megapixel cameras. However, the S4 Mini does have a few of the features from its elder brother. So it has the sound in shot feature, drama shot. It doesn't have dual camera like the S4 original has, but the S4 Mini does have a few of these new features that the S3 currently does not. not. Now both of these film 1080p video as well from the rear facing cameras, and the front facing cameras, the S3 has a 1.9 megapixel camera. The S4 Mini also has a 1.9 megapixel front facing camera. Now the S3 has a 720p recording that the front facing camera will give you. However, the S4 Mini, they've not fully confirmed it, but I also expect it to have a 720p front facing camera. In terms of the operating system, the S3 is currently on Jelly Bean 4.1.2. However, the S4 Mini is going to come with Android Jelly Bean 4.2.2, so the latest version of Android Jelly Bean on here, and it's also going to have the TouchWiz interface as both of them do, but it's going to have a lot of the newer features that the S4 original has. So the S4 Mini is coming with lots of these newer features. S Translator, S Health, Group Play are some examples. You've also got the IR Blaster on the S4 Mini, which you don't have on the S3, and other features such as Air View and Air Gesture, they've also brought these over to the S4 Mini, which is quite impressive for this compact device. The S3 will not have these. Now there's no smart scroll or smart pause on any of these. I'm not really bothered about those too much, to be honest anyway, but those are not on either of the devices. Now in terms of batteries, the S3 has a 2100 milliamp battery, whereas the S4 Mini has a 1900 milliamp battery. So although the S3 has a slightly larger battery, because the S4 has a lower resolution, etc., and a smaller screen, it's probably going to give you roughly about the same, if not a little bit more usage, I would expect. Now in terms of price, now as I mentioned, these are going to be quite similar in terms of price. The 16GB version of the S3, roughly about £300 going for right now in the UK, and roughly about $450 I believe in the US. The S4 Mini 8GB version is not confirmed the prices as yet, but you'll be looking at around about £300 once again, or $450 in the US. This is a SIM-free unlocked version that I'm talking about, and they're expecting a July release date, July 2013 release date for the S4 Mini. The S3 is currently available everywhere, as you can expect. So those were some of the key differences between these devices. So again, as I mentioned, they are very similar in terms of spec overall. The main differences are things like the size and some of the features that you've got on there. So if you do want a larger screen with a little bit of a higher resolution, then the S3 is still a great option. It's still a great phone. Now if you do want some of those new features and you want a bit more of a compact device, then the S4 Mini is going to be great for that. So that's going to be also a great option. What are your views on the S4 Mini? Which one would you go for? Would you go for the S4 Mini or would you go for the S3? Do drop me a comment below and let me know. I will do a full review of the S4 Mini if it does come through to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. Why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.